I'm Holly.
I'm Ryan.
And we're Salonology, and welcome to our salon-flavoured, inspirational and hilariously funny podcast, The Salonology Show.
Oh yeah, so let's just check right off the bat that you are in the right place. This podcast is for salon owners, maybe mobile salon owners, at-home salons, solopreneurs, those with big teams, those with no teams. Anyone who is a business owner in the hair, beauty, aesthetic, spa, or even clinical space. Welcome everyone to episode 5 of The Salonology Show.
The Salonology Show. I have to resist myself from singing it.
Should we do it? Just this is off the cuff. Because we were originally going to sing the jingle, weren't we?
We were.
But we have resisted the temptation up
But
until
I can't
now.
help but it's in my head now.
Why don't you just give readers a little blast of
Ready?
what they could have...
Count me down.
Okay, in 3, 2...
The Salonology Show. I think I missed my calling as a singer. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, maybe you did. Anyway, moving very swiftly on. So last episode 4, the wonderful Jamie Butler from Lashbase was on.
Yeah, he was.
Telling us his story. Great story. Family business like ours, going from strength to strength, despite everything that's happened, especially this year.
Can we just also point out, before we even talk about what he talked about, what a thoroughly nice fellow
Nice
he
chap.
is.
Very nice man.
He's a very nice chap, isn't he?
He is. He's got perfect hair. Have you noticed that? Not one out of place.
No.
Not one out. It's like it's Lego, which obviously is a plus
That's obviously
point.
why you like him so much.
One of many reasons why.
But he's kind of your friend, isn't he?
Industry friend. Yeah, top guy. And not only that, but anyone, if you didn't catch it, you need to go back and download that episode. It's going to be quite easy to find it from wherever you're hearing this. You need to download it and listen to it because he dropped some absolute bombs.
Yeah, he did.
On particularly talking about Insta and growing your following and connecting with your audience, particularly good for anyone who might be a little bit stuck right now. There was so much value in that. So honestly, go back and download it if you've not listened to it. What was your main takeaway from the oodles of epic awesomeness that Jamie dropped all over us? A big dollop of it.
It was a huge dollop.
It was, wasn't it?
So for me, I mean, Jamie's got a pretty impressive Instagram following, and he was talking about some of the little hacks, I suppose, that you can use in Instagram. And he shared a couple of those about interacting with people to help you start to build your profile and put yourself in front of people. And it is quite interesting because my Instagram game is not that hot. Oh. So I've got quite a few followers now, but I want to build it up and I do want to work on it. And I have taken away a few things from Jamie's podcast that's actually going to help me.
Do you want to A, firstly plug your account, and then B, let us know what those tips were?
Sure. My account is Holly from Salonology, and that's Holly with an IE. So Holly from Salonology. And the big takeaway really was when he was talking about using your time effectively to, rather than just scroll through stuff, actually interact with people, engage with people, comment on people's pictures, because it's a reciprocal relationship and you should be commenting on them so they can comment on you. You can get to know each other. And that's ultimately what builds these long-term relationships. It helps you put your name in front of their other friends and their potential connections as well. So, yes, a nice little nugget.
The man talks a lot of sense. And not only that, but not only does he talk the talk, but he walks the walk. I mean, his accounts, for the Lashbase accounts, they've got over 100,000 followers across all of their accounts added together, which is a bonkers number of people. That's like Wembley Stadium.
And what would you say you took away from it?
Well, there were lots of takeaways, particularly some Insta ones, which I'm going to be trialing immediately, by the way. Expect to see more Instagram reels. It's definitely one thing I must do more of.
Oh, yes.
In fact, must do my first one of before I do more of them. But also that I think one of the other things is that everything takes time. And I think that's such an important philosophy for everyone in business to understand that things take time, especially in business, because you're going to make some mistakes. It's not going to be entirely smooth sailing, as we all know. And I think that so many people just expect that, you know, their business is going to blow up straight away. And the reality for most people is that that doesn't happen, right? Most of the time, things are going to take twice as long as you think and cost twice as much as you think. And he kind of echoed, that consistency and persistency are so important, not just on social media, but, in business in general. And also I thought what was interesting as well was how he was saying that it clearly helps doing a job that you love, because one of the things that came across is clearly how much he loves his work, right? And I think that makes work a lot easier. So loads of great takeaways. So everyone needs to go and download that right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start this week with one of our regular features. It's what would Auntie Hollie do? Hollie plays agony aunt to you. Yes, that means you. So if you've got a business dilemma right now that you would like Auntie Hollie to help you with, and not only that, but Hollie's niece Sophia to read out, then please fire us an email to Hollie with an IE at salonology.uk. Let's hear this week's question from Sophia, shall we?
Mm-hmm. What would Auntie Hollie do?
This question comes from Natasha. Natasha says, I've been running my salon for some time now, and I'm ready to start off bigger ticket treatments. How do I go from selling smaller and less expensive treatments to selling treatments that need a much bigger investment for my customers?
Okay, well, this is an interesting question, Natasha, and thank you so much for writing this, because I think this is something that a lot of people ask. They want to know that transition, how they go from where they're at now to those bigger ticket treatments, because bigger ticket items on your menu are going to generally generate more income. They're going to hopefully generate you more profit. And of course, if we're selling bigger ticket items, we ultimately need to sell less of them to have the level of success that we're looking for. But I know there is a transition period, and this is what some people struggle with. And this is, Natasha has an existing business, so she's looking at taking that step from one to the other. Well, the first thing to do is you obviously may already have the database for your more advanced treatments sitting and waiting for you. You may not. It depends on how your business is set up. But say, for instance, you do a lot of waxing and you're looking to go to laser treatments, laser hair removal, or IPL. There is a chance that the people who are currently coming to you for waxing are going to be suitable to come to you for laser, because the goal is the same, right? That's to remove the hair on a more permanent basis. So those waxing clients are your potential pool of people to start with. Of course, this applies to any area of your industry. So if you have clients who have Casey treatments and you're upgrading and you're bringing in a HIFU machine or something like that, maybe you do peels and you want to bring in microneedling. Maybe you do hair treatments, you want to bring in a Brazilian blow dry. You may already have an audience in existence. So that's the first place you want to start. You want to start telling people about that and building that relationship with your existing clients. If not, though, then you need to start working on building your potential future client database ASAP. And this is a matter of, it takes time to build this with your clients. There's no point sending out one email and saying, oh, hi, we're bringing in a laser. Are you interested? And if you don't get a reply, assuming they're not interested and never contacting them again about it, you want to start building up that interest. And that comes from sharing information, educating them, building suspense, building intrigue. You want to take them through a journey. You want them to start thinking, actually, I don't know much about laser, so educate me, or, teaching them how it works, teaching them the technology, the science, teaching them what sort of results they can expect, and educating them on the potential journey that they have ahead of them if they wish to join you. So you want to start building that up from the beginning. And this would apply whether even you're a brand new business. If you were just opening, I'd recommend you do the same thing, because if you go from small ticket to big ticket items, in some ways you're almost starting from scratch again, because you might have to attract a totally different database. So start building that up, start building the list of interested people, because you're going to get 100 people who say, yes, I'm really interested, and maybe only a few who actually come through with booking the treatments. So you want to get that list as big as you possibly can, and that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to put a Facebook post up and get 5,000 people on your email database. It takes consistency. It takes a little bit and often every day across multiple platforms, and start building up the list. And what I would do is I would do something to launch it, something big, maybe an open night to get everybody excited. Invite your current clients who are having the lower ticket item version of the treatment you're going to be selling. Invite them in for a VIP open evening, a discovery night, or do it virtually if you have to, and give them an exclusive experience to come in and see a snippet of what's coming in your business. But you have to remember that the people that you're going to be targeting ultimately and moving forward are going to be a totally different market to who you're currently working with. So make sure that your marketing targets the kind of affluence that you're going to need for them to be able to afford these more expensive treatments.
Nice. So what about, this wasn't an asked question or part of what Natasha asked, but what about if someone hasn't been running their salon for very long? Would you still recommend offering those higher ticket items?
Well, I guess it really depends on what they are, because sometimes a high ticket item comes with a big price tag. If you're bringing in a big piece of technology, that might be £40,000 to £50,000.
Well, it might be, but the revenue that you can generate is so. I guess it partly comes down to your aversion to risk. You know, are you prepared to take out some finance that might be £500, £600, £700, £800 a month?
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is, well, if you've got then a bit of machinery which can deliver a treatment that you can charge £1,000 for, £500 for, £250 for even, then
it's worthwhile.
It's worthwhile if you're confident in your ability to be able to get it booked out.
I mean, I'm somebody who takes risks and stuff like that. I am. I'm a risk taker, shall we say.
Let's.
Other people are a little bit more formulated in their approach. They like to do their research a little bit more. They like to do their numbers. They like to do their market research as well. And that's all very, very recommended. If you're somebody that feels uncomfortable taking these big steps and these big financial commitments, then don't do it. How I see it, though, is like, oh, okay, well, for instance, we had a machine that could generate £850 in an hour and 10 minutes. And it cost us, a reasonable amount of money, but it didn't take much at all for us to be able to pay the monthly fee on that piece of equipment.
One treatment a month.
One treatment a month. So the way I saw it was I've literally got to get one client, and anybody beyond that is pretty much a bonus. And if you have your marketing right, if you know the way to market, if you know the way to get your business out there, then you can literally just turn it on like a tap. And that's what we did in our business. If we had a quieter day coming up ahead, we were able to turn our tap on to bring more clients through. But if we were super busy and we needed to dial it back, we could turn that tap off a little bit as well. So very, very effective, but you've got to know your marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Excellent. Well, there you go, Natasha. Hopefully that has helped. And actually, to bring on to the next thing that we really the topic for conversation for this whole episode, which actually does kind of play into that question a little bit, because we wanted to talk a little bit today about standing out from the crowd, right? How you can make your business stand out, because my golly, is it a competitive marketplace out there?
Oh my God, yeah.
And actually, interestingly, as Natasha was saying, by offering those more higher end treatments, straight away, that's going to make her business stand out a bit more.
Yeah,
right? Because there is a clear barrier to entry in offering laser, for example, because not everyone can afford or would even get finance for a 60 or 70 grand piece of laser machinery, potentially. Okay. So straight away, that is one way that Natasha can help herself stand out. And the reason why we're talking about this today is because we get asked this a lot. Yeah. How can I make myself stand out? Oh, there's another 20 nail techs that have opened in my town this week. There's another 4 lash artists that live on my road operating from home, from their garage, and I can't compete on price. How can I make myself stand out? So we wanted to talk a little bit about that today, about how you, the listener, can make you and your business stand out from the crowd, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What I think often happens is when people open their business, I see this happen all the time, they open their business and they follow the same format as everybody else. So they look at, right, well, I'm just going to say a beauty salon. Obviously, this applies to hair, aesthetics, nails, tanning, waxing. But if you were just say, I'm going to be a general beauty salon, the chances are you're going to have a menu of some facials, some massage, some body treatments, probably some waxing, some nails, maybe some tanning. That's like the core of industry, okay? And then you're going to go, right, well, I'm going to do a full body massage, back and shoulder massage, and then a hot stone massage. So they're the 3 massages I'm going to offer. And I'm going to look at all the other salons in the area and I'm going to see what they charge. And then I'm going to work out what I should charge based on that. And this is something we've touched on before. In our last podcast, or episode 3, we did talk about this in pricing. And that tends to be what happens. And then people go, I don't understand why people are going to the salon next door, or they're going to the one up the road, or they're just not coming to me. The thing is, if you offer the same menu and the same prices, you've got to ask yourself, what is it that sets you apart from the other salons in your location, right? Why is somebody going to come to you over and above anybody else? If you imagine 2 salons sitting side by side, right? You've got Ryan's salon, Hollie's salon, and you look in the window and one offers a full body massage for £60 and the other one does. And one offers a back, neck and shoulder for £40 and the other one does, and so on and so forth. Everything's identical, right? What is going to define where they go? It's not price, it's not location, they're next to each other. You know, the branding is all pretty much the same. What is it that's going to pull you into one place or another? It's going to be the way it makes you feel. It's going to be maybe the music. It's maybe going to be how welcome you feel walking in. There's going to be a number of different factors that are in place. And you need to make sure that whatever you're putting out there, or realize that whatever you're putting out there is going to attract like with like. So if you're putting out a salon and you've got loud Ibiza house music playing and it's all white inside and it's really loud and buzzy, you're going to attract a certain type of person, and that certain person's going to come along, love being in that sort of environment, and that's going to be perfect for them to go to. You're not going to attract an older lady maybe, or somebody who's very, very quiet and timid. Next door you might have a salon that is eco-friendly, you know, and everything in it is green and recycled and everything's vegan. That's going to attract another type of person, okay? So these are all the things that define the different types of salons that you're going to see. And this is what you need to think about when you choose to stand out from the crowd. You've got to be different in your own way, because if you've got this salon that's pumping out Ibiza house, you as the owner and your team, you need to like being in that environment. You need to, you know, embrace that environment. Likewise, if you have an eco salon, you've got to be passionate about it. You've got to be passionate about all the things that you're putting out and your ethos of your business. So this all determines what sort of clients are going to come to you. And these are the things that stick in their mind. So Richard Branson said, if you want to stand out from the crowd, you have to give people a reason to not forget you. Now, you've got to put yourself in a situation where if you're twice the price of the salon next door, they still come to you. That's what you want to be. So if you're twice the price of the salon next door, why would they still come to you? You've got to make sure that people will be prepared to pay twice as much because you're offering something else. And
let's be clear, people are prepared to do that.
They are.
There are some people that would do that.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons that people forget is that I believe our industry is an experience-based industry.
Definitely.
As much. I think some people think, oh, right, well, the end result of someone coming to me is the treatment they have, or maybe even how they feel after the treatment has taken place, depending on what it is, right? And whilst, yes, that is true for certain treatments, I think actually where you can really add that value is in the experience that you give people when they come to your salon.
Yeah.
What could you do in your salon that no one else does?
Yeah.
What could you do that is completely against the status quo? What is it that everyone does that you could do completely differently, stand on your head different?
Yep.
Right. And if you can find those things, and the other thing with that is it's constantly evolving as well, because if you do something that's different, someone else is going to copy you.
Yes.
There's nothing surer than that. So you always have to be reinventing those things, right? If you go, oh, I tell you, it would be a really cool idea. I'm going top end. So I think it'd be a really nice idea to have someone out front with a top hat and a cane, and they're going to give glasses of champagne, flutes of champagne to everyone that comes in, right? Yeah, brilliant idea. See how long it is before someone else copies that. Yeah. Not going to be very long, especially with social media, right? Because you're going to post pictures of it. Yeah. Someone else is going to copy you, okay?
That's a good idea.
So you've got to be constantly evolving and constantly coming up with these new ideas and this creativity. But that is what all the businesses do who do stand out.
The thing is, I think what we can often underestimate is the importance of that hour or half an hour or 3 hours or however long their treatment takes for that individual that's coming in. So when we go and we have a treatment, okay, like a massage is more of an experience based than having nails done, okay? Because nails, some people feel they're essential. I do. I go and get my nails done every 3 weeks. But let's not take away from the fact that when you walk into a salon, even if it's for waxing or something that's not that pleasant, it is in order to do something nice for oneself. That's the only reason somebody's going to walk in outside of going in and, buying a voucher or something. But if you're walking in for yourself, it's because you want to improve yourself in some way, right? You either want to look better or feel better, okay? That's the only reason why anyone's going to walk into a salon, right? So are you making the most of that time that they're in there to have the best experience that they can have? Because yes, they might want their lashes to look amazing at the end and they want their nails to look fabulous. That's just a given. That's a non-negotiable. But actually, how they have that time with you is going to determine so much about how they feel about you, how welcome they feel, how looked after they feel, how pampered. Do they feel like a VIP? Do they like the music that's being played? Is everything easy for them? If they're walking in and there's no one on reception and they don't know where to go or they can't find the toilet, these things that like stress people's experience out. So sometimes it's the most simplest of things, just making everything super easy for them. Like if there's a lovely coffee machine and you're saying, everybody help yourself to coffee, but there's no sign, people won't go and help themselves to coffee because they're not sure. No spoons, you've run out of sugar and they've got to come and ask.
Empty, dirty mugs. That's annoying.
Yeah, do you have soy milk? Because I can't have normal milk. Well, you'd have a little sign, wouldn't you, saying we can offer you soy alternative if you need it. Make it super, super easy for people. Make it so that they can tell you if when they're having their treatment, they're too hot or they're too cold. If your room isn't that warm, put a heated blanket on the bed. Tell them they can control it themselves. When I go to the dentist, and you go back in the chair, they've got a TV above you with subtitles so I can sit and watch the telly while I'm having my, hygienist appointment.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they say, do you want me to change the channel? And I can just watch that. These are the little things that make your experience better. And that's how you stand out from the crowd. It's not about being cheapest. It's not about even being the most glariest. It's about giving people who walk in the time that is important to them.
And I think if you're someone who is a solopreneur and you're looking to stand out, then I think one of the main influencing factors with that is going to be you as the individual, right? Because there's going to be some people listening saying, oh, well, that's all good and well, but I operate from home, from my garage conversion. So, I couldn't possibly do any of those things. Well, you can still stand out. You can still make yourself stand out by still doing things which are different to what other people are doing within your sector of the market, right? And if you don't have a team, then I think a large part of that has to be standing out as you, the individual.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. But let's just touch on that, because if somebody has a home business and somebody's coming to you, they know you have a home business. That might be the reason that they're coming to you.
Yeah, sure.
And that might be, they might say, well, I prefer to come to somebody's home. I feel more comfortable. I feel like, it's more personal. And for some people, that's like a really, really important element of it. That doesn't mean you can't give them a wonderful experience, because their experience they request might be slightly different when it's a home salon or when it's a mobile salon. I mean, lots of people do work mobile. How can you recreate that environment on a mobile basis that's going to give people this wonderful experience when you come into their homes? Music, electric candles, the right bed, the comfortable bed, nice warm towels. There's nothing worse than going to a salon and having a treatment done and the towel not covering your feet. It's infuriating. These little touches, these little things that we just think, oh, aren't that important to you? They could be incredibly important to your clients. So try and tick all the boxes, make their journey easy, rehash it all the time, rethinking it all the time, walk through your own business and go, right, what do they see? What do they smell? What do they feel?
Smell's a big one. I don't think enough people pay attention to that.
Massively. And that can enhance so much of their experience. It can enhance their purchasing power and everything. I mean, if it's July and you're selling SPF on your shelf and you pop behind your SPF a little diffuser of coconut and, pineapple flavoured room diffuser, they're going to walk past that product and think holidays. They're going to be in a much more of a mindset to be buying products for their holidays. Do you know what I mean? There's little things you can do that guide their experience. But outside of the fact they may not notice that everything smells good, they definitely will notice if things smell bad.
That's very true.
And they're going to walk away. And even if it's not your fault, if you live near somewhere or you have your salon next to a chippy, well, it smells good actually.
Good,
oh dear, yum.
Oh, chippy chips and hummus.
But if they're next to something and the smell isn't great that's coming through the vents, you need to overcome that, because even if it's totally out of your power and you can't stop that smell coming in and you can't stop that experience, they're going to walk away with that. And they're going to go, that's a smelly place to go and I don't want to go there anymore. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to think about everything from your client's perspective and how can you make this experience better, because that is how you stand out.
Why don't we give people some homework this week?
Okay.
So I think that it would be a useful exercise. So, well, yes, I think it would be a useful exercise for everyone to try and maybe think of 3 ways of something that they could implement that would truly make them stand out from the crowd. Come up with them this week. You can email us and tell us about it if you want, or you can take a picture and use the hashtag Salonology Tribe, or tag us in it and let us know what you're going to do to try and make you stand out from the crowd. And it doesn't have to be expensive. This is the other thing as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be expensive at all. It just has to be different. The way you stand out is just by being different, doing not what everyone else is doing, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I think that's super useful, I'm sure. You got me saying super now instead of everything, which is so annoying.
Super boost.
It's super annoying.
Super boost is my favourite term and Ryan hates it.
Stupid expression.
Super boost.
No, it's rubbish.
Right, if you like the term super boost, then tag me in it and super boost something. Hashtag super boost. Hashtag
super boost.
At Hollie from Salonology.
Oh, rubbish.
And love to hear about how you're super boosting your business.
And on that note, now a quick message from our sponsors.
Critics have called it outstanding, inspirational, a masterpiece of the modern day, and arguably the most important book since the Argos catalog, with almost 100 5-star reviews on Amazon.com, and from the same author who brought you Honey, I Shrunk the Schnoodle, the definitive guide to attracting more clients into your business. Ryan Power proudly brings to you his #1 best-selling book, The Customer is Always Right, and 7.5 other outdated myths which are destroying your salon business. In this seminal work, you'll understand why getting your name out there is not a smart marketing strategy, why the client isn't always right, and why some of your existing clients should be shown the door for good and be looked after by someone else. As if that wasn't enough, a copy has already been purchased for you by Ryan, because he's an all-round great guy. Follow the link in the show notes to learn how to get your hands on your copy and just cover the cost of the postage. Learn why Sarah G from Amazon said, "Love this book. No nonsense, sensible guidance. Myth busting at its finest." Grab your copy today. But not until after you finish listening to this episode, of course. UK only. 1 book per person. Book does not guarantee success or results of any kind. Eat your greens. Be nice to old people. Be kind to strangers. Rest in peace, the Argos catalog.
And now it's time for this.
Hi-ho, everyone. Welcome to the Salonology Show. Now, without further ado, it's time for Ryan's Rant! Yay!
So, Ryan.
Yes, Holly.
Who has annoyed you this week?
Well, I'll tell you who's annoyed me this week are people who commit the #1 sin of marketing, which is being boring.
I'm just thrilled it's not me.
It's not you. You weren't even in the top 5 this week. You'd be pleased to learn. No, but in all seriousness, because this is a serious subject and a serious podcast. We are professional broadcasters these days. Mm-hmm. And anyway, the number one sin is people, yes, who do boring marketing. Look, if you are just copying what everyone else is doing, blindly without knowing whether or not it works, whether or not it doesn't, then that is a sin straight away. Okay. You don't want to be just blindly copying what everyone else is doing. We were talking just earlier about how you make yourself stand out. Well, you make yourself stand out by doing things which are different to everyone else, right? So that means not being bland. It means not being vanilla. Okay. Your marketing needs to have you ideally injected into it, or at least the personality of the business at the very, very least, because think about it this way, no one else can copy that, right? You see the little memes all the time. Be you, no one else can be you. It's true though, isn't it? No one else can copy you. They can't do that bit, right? So stop hiding behind your brand. Put yourself out there a little bit, because as we say all the time, people buy people, okay? And if you've just got your bland imagery, then it's going to be very, very difficult to get people to connect with that. People can't connect with a logo, right? The other thing which really annoys me is when people are putting out things like, 10% off, 15% off, right? No one cares about 10% off or 15% off. That is not going to entice anybody to buy anything from you, especially if they don't know you, right? If they don't know you, having 10% off with you when they haven't got a clue what you're all about is not going to make you stand out. It's not going to make someone go over the line and take that step with you.
Can I just add something to that as well?
Yes.
Also, 10% or 20% off what? Because people don't know your prices and they don't know your structure, because that's not really relevant to them. So all you're just doing is saying, I discount.
Well, absolutely.
That's the only message
you're
putting out.
Even if they did know, it's still rubbish. You shouldn't be doing it anyway. It's so boring. 10% off. What the hell is that? That is the most, it's just not had any thought put into it whatsoever. So instead, why not think about what you could do that other people wouldn't do in your marketing, right? Marketing isn't about discounting anyway, but what can you do that no one else would do? We were talking about that earlier when we were talking about making yourself stand out. The same is true in your marketing. People want to hear your stories, right? They want to know about you. They want to know about your backstory. They want to know about what it is that makes you tick, what your business is all about. And as we say, don't discount anyway, but instead look at ways you can add value. How can you make more exciting and interesting offers to your clients that other people aren't doing or that they wouldn't have seen before? Marketing ultimately is about getting attention, right? It's about getting eyeballs on your business, and 10% off ain't going to cut it, right? It's not going to cut it. Sound like Lord Sugar then, didn't I? Ain't going to cut it. So you need to be
money.
You need to be a bit more creative, and you need to put a bit more thought into it.
Excellent. Thank you, Henny. Now, we love to ask our tribe, our Salonology tribe, questions to see what they're wanting us to talk about. So we've got some questions here. I've got one for you here. How do you entice new clients when they just don't seem to bite?
Okay, right. Good question. How do you entice new clients when they don't seem to bite? Look, I remember learning when I was a hardcore telephone sales executive that
cold caller, nuisance caller.
Come on. No, none of those things. They were warm leads. Anyway, the thing is, you will never, ever, ever convince a prospect to change their mind. Right. You will not get them to change their mind. So if someone says no to you, no typically means no, right? But what you can do is you can get them to make a new decision based on fresh information, right?
Yep.
So if you're putting something out and people aren't biting, then it means you need to give them a bit more information, right? So they can make a new decision based on new information. So if you're making an offer to your clients and they reject it, then you need to give them some additional information or tweak that offer in some way and represent it to them so that you then give them an opportunity to say yes to something different.
Could you give us an example?
Yes, I can give you an example. Let's say, for example, that you are doing running a promotion, right, for the month of February because it is Valentine's Day, and you're saying, oh, I'm doing a free dozen roses with every balayage, right? Because it's Valentine's Day, right? And then it turns out that actually no one's biting, right? It turns out no one wants the roses, okay? Now, it doesn't matter how many times you put an advert in front of the same person saying, have the flipping roses, right? They're not gonna do it because you're asking them to make a decision based on the same information. So instead, what then you would like to do is maybe switch out the offer. Maybe it should be a bottle of fizz instead of the roses, right? Now you're asking someone to choose from a new offer. Yeah, it's a different proposal. Or alternatively, maybe you could still keep the original offer, but you have to position it in a different way or give them some new information, explain to them why the roses are so great for whatever reason, you know? So you've got to mix it up a little bit. And as I say, I think the key bit is that it's very difficult to get someone to change their mind, but you can get them to make a new decision. So you have to do something different from your end.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. All right, I've got a question for you here as well. I don't know who these have come from, by the way. We don't seem to have any names with any of these. But anyway, I'm not sure who researched this, but we'll fire him.
You did.
Okay, excellent. If you were just starting out in this industry, Hollie, what would your focus be on? Well, that's a good question.
It is a good question, actually, because if I was going back to where I was 10 years ago, I obviously started out doing semi-permanent makeup. That was the first part of my business. And that was the model before it developed into a spa. And had I loved doing semi-permanent makeup more than I did enjoy it, then it would have been a wonderful business model because it's reasonably high ticket item. I had all the equipment that I needed. And I was in the business early enough that I could have built a very, very strong reputation for myself. So I think... it just happened that my path was more to be behind the scenes. That's what I preferred. But what I would have done, I think, if I was going back now as a semi-permanent makeup artist or, whatever I decided to do, I'd be very, very clear on where it was that I wanted to go because it wasn't very clear initially. I opened the business and I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to open this and see what happens. And then it was like, oh, we'll try this and we'll do a bit of this. And some of it worked and some of it didn't. I didn't really have a path. I had no idea where the business was going to go. And I kind of thought, I'll just do semi-permanent makeup all day, every day. I'll have somebody running the front desk for me and they'll do all the consultations and the patch tests. And that'll be all I need to do. And that'll be my life.
Good business model if you enjoy doing the treatment.
If you enjoy doing the treatment. So that would have been what I would have pushed for, to the point where I would have said, right, okay, so I want to have 5 or 6 clients a day. I'm going to charge $350 per person. I'm going to have somebody else running everything in the background for me. It would have been a very, very lucrative, successful business. However, obviously, that wasn't the path I chose to go down ultimately. But you've got to have a very, very clear goal on where you want your business to be. And that is probably what I would have changed. I would have gone back and said, right, I need to focus on where I want this business to get to. And then every single decision I would have made would have taken me either one step closer or one step further away. Everything that came through, every opportunity, every purchase, every hire, every brand I chose to work with, every single one of those things are either going to get me closer to that ultimate goal or take me further away from it. So I would have been super clear on where I wanted it to go. And ultimately, that is what happened. And it was to build the business and to sell the business, which we did. But if I was back there at the beginning now, I would have been a little bit more particular about my goal and probably make sure that I loved doing what I was setting the business up around more.
As it turned out, you had to pivot a little bit because you didn't enjoy doing it.
But that was fine because now we've come into a new business and a new opportunity with this that I love.
Wonderful.
So that's good.
Okay, final question to us both. And I do know who this one's from because I remember her right. This is from Sadia.
I was going to say it's Sadia's question.
And a lot of people probably will recognise that name because she is a linchpin of our community. She's an admin of our Facebook group, Salonology Superstars, which you should look up if you're not already part. In fact, we'll put the link in the show notes. So she asks, do you ever really disagree with business decisions? And if so, who normally wins?
Oh my God, do we ever argue about business or what?
Every day.
Every single day. The thing is, as what we talk about a lot, is when you become part of the Salonology community, or you do any of our courses or anything like that, you'll notice that you get 2 very different mindsets. You get Ryan, you get me. I'm emotional, he's logical. I'm creative, he's practical. We're kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum in every possible way, which is a great advantage for you guys because it means that I'll give you a metaphorical hug and Ryan will give you a metaphorical slap around the face, and we'll help you get to the next parts of your business because you've got 2 perspectives and you've got somebody who really knows the marketing and then you've got me who knows the industry. So you're kind of quids in. The time that this isn't a negative element of the business is when we are behind the scenes discussing where to take the business next. Because we both have very different ideas. We both have the passion is different parts of the business as well. We both enjoy everything that we do, but both of us have favourite parts and they're different. So it means that sometimes we disagree on how we should move things forward or what sort of things we want to push forward, because what Ryan loves, I love something different and I want to go in one direction, he wants to go in another. So it is a bit of a tug of war, but we have had to start to negotiate, haven't we?
Well, I think we're also both quite, I don't know if stubborn is necessarily the right word, but forthright with our opinions and ideas, and neither of us are backward about going forward and present our ideas, you know, in a way that we hope or expect them to get across. And obviously something often has to give.
I think in a lot of relationships, you get somebody who's very loud and somebody who's very quiet. And we're not like that. We're both quite loud. We're both very opinionated. We both come from a sales background. We both think we're the best salesperson in the world. We both think that we...
I am.
Yeah, all right. We both think that we know more than the other one.
That's true.
We both think we are better at business. So, yeah, it is a challenge sometimes. But what happens is it's a little bit like a tornado meeting a volcano. And
which am I?
You are the volcano.
Cool.
And I am the tornado, because I move around and create mess.
That's true.
And you stay still, but sometimes explode.
Oh.
So what happens though is when this tornado and volcano like go crazy and everything blows up in the air, when everything settles afterwards, there's always something wonderful that's left. And
I wasn't sure where that metaphor was going there. It's like, what is the good thing that comes out of this
There's always
crosshatch?
something, because we have to kind of meet each other in the middle.
Right.
But when we infuse the ideas from both sides, we usually end up with something pretty awesome. And it doesn't happen every time. But when we sit and listen, and we almost have to negotiate with each other and almost sort of, you know, you can have your bit of this and I'll have my bit of that and I'll give up this and you give up that. But then we find that we actually come up with something really powerful at the end of it.
Well, it's just a bit of give and take, isn't it? Isn't that what, I mean, this is by no means a relationship podcast, but isn't that what all relationships, even friendships, all business partnerships, they're all about a bit of give and take. And you're not going to have everything your own way, are you?
No,
and if you do try and just bulldoze your opinions through, then that's not going to work out as well for the next time, I would imagine.
No, there'll be lots of door slamming and stamping of feet.
Are you suggesting that I slam doors and stamp feet?
Maybe.
There?
Read into it however you like. Anyway, so that's a wrap for episode 5 of the Salonology Show. Please subscribe to our podcast. Please share it with your friends. I'm sure you know people in the industry who'd love to hear me and Ryan warbling on about all things salons. We're on episode 5 now, so we've got 4 that you can already listen to if you haven't yet.
Yes.
And we'd love to share our experiences with you. We've got some fabulous guests that we've already spoken to, and we've got more coming up. And we absolutely can't wait to bring you the rest of our Salonology Show episodes. We've got loads and loads and loads and loads planned. Please use the hashtags Salonology Show. I can't get my words out today. We're on a juice cleanse, aren't we? So it's everything's starting to shut down, I think. And hashtag Salonology Tribe, and let us know how you feel about it.
Yeah, and while you're there, by the way, can you go and leave us a nice little review?
Oh, please.
Because we'd really appreciate that. We'd really like it if you give us a little 5-star review. Yeah. And if you've not done so, make sure you go back, listen to our interview with Jamie from Lashbase on episode 4, and make sure you do subscribe. Yeah, and go on, give us a little review. It's only a little click and a few things, and let us know what you think. You'd really make our day. We will see you in 2 weeks' time with episode 6 with a very, 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 very special top secret guest.
Yeah, I'm excited
who I
for
think
this
is
one.
actually going to come and join us in the studio. Producer Kelly is just thumped to the air. I think that he's actually going to come and join us. So that's very exciting.
Isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
And we're excited. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will see you next time. We hope you have an awesome, super awesome day.
Super awesome day. Go super boost your day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.